Welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some big news to cover for the trading week today. So we have some big earnings tomorrow. A lot of stocks are booming to the upside. We have a couple important events this week, and we have some new news from Joe Biden. So we're set for a pretty volatile and interesting week. We have a lot of stocks setting up in a good way, and it's set to be a great week. So, Tom, what are the major events to watch for this week?
Yeah, Mike, like you said, there's going to be a lot of big events coming up, especially later in the week, in my opinion. But looking at the SPY here, we had a pretty good week, especially on Friday, Mike. The SPY really ripped up. We closed at 453, right around that high of day there. And I feel like that whenever futures open up tonight, we might see the SPY or the S&P 500 futures start to move up a little bit more, maybe before market open tomorrow. That would definitely make for a nice momentum shift early in the morning. But like you said, Mike, we have some pretty big events coming up this week on the calendar. We can see here on Thursday, we're pretty much going to have the PCE price index coming out, which is pretty big, as well as personal income and personal spending numbers. And then on Friday, we're going to have the unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls. So we're going to have some pretty big data coming out at the end of the week. There isn't anything huge scheduled for in the middle of the week, but I will say, Mike, that data coming out should make the SPY move quite a bit. And last week, we actually saw Treasury yields fly up on Friday as well as the TNX hits $25 here.
There we go. All righty. And then, Tom, we can't forget about these earnings. We have a couple stocks that normally move quite a bit that are set to report earnings this week. So what do we have on the schedule?
Yeah, first off, we're going to have XPeng on Friday, or I should say on Monday before market open. It's going to be ticker XPEV. That's going to be a pretty big one. They've been moving a lot lately with all this China news coming out. On Tuesday, Mike, after close, we're going to have some pretty big ones here. We have Micron, Sundial, Lululemon, and then Chewy right after that. So it's looking like a pretty exciting week, Mike. Tuesday after close is definitely my favorite day. Wednesday, we have Five Below, BioNTech. And then Thursday looks like we have BlackBerry after close. But also Walgreens on Thursday before open, Mike. We can't forget that. But my favorite one this week is probably going to be Sundial with all the news and stuff coming out about marijuana stocks last week. I think that's going to be a very key one to watch. And I can't forget about Chewy either. I know that's been one of our favorites lately.
Yeah, Chewy's definitely going to be my favorite one for this week. Sundial is going to be very explosive, though, Tom, just like you said, because these marijuana stocks have been running up in such a giant way. Check out Sundial and then Tilray. TLRY, that thing just exploded right towards the end of the day on Friday. It finished up 22%, but over the past couple days, it is really, really rocketing, and there's just a lot of good news, circulating for these marijuana stocks right now. And then the House is, set to vote on their bill, I believe, tomorrow, which is Monday.
Yeah, that's going to be big, Mike. We've been waiting for some legislation to come out for these marijuana stocks for a long, long time. And I know that Biden, whenever he got into office, it was expected to maybe make the marijuana stocks shoot up. And you can see Tilray kind of got a nice pop here. But, you can see then Tilray just continued to just turn back over to the downside over the past couple years. So the Biden administration didn't necessarily make it explode as people wanted, but now that these bills are starting to circulate through Congress, it's definitely getting some nice momentum back, Mike. And just over the past few days, Tilray itself, Mike, from the low to the high is up around, right around 79%. So this is pretty big. It's had some amazing moves, and hopefully we see this momentum continue.
Tom, you have to check out Tilray's chart on a max weekly. This thing is very explosive. When it first started running up, I believe that was 2018, it went from $30 up to $300 in a month, or actually went from 20 up to 300. So, it just goes to show you that overall, these marijuana stocks have performed very poorly, but every now and then they just straight up explode. But they need that catalyst, they need that momentum, and they need that attention all flowing into them.
Yeah, they really do. And I will say, Mike, over the past couple days, we've definitely been seeing that coming back. Look at the volume on my candlesticks here. You can see the blue volume bars extending up a lot higher than the volume bars extended up in the past. So hopefully we see this momentum continue up, Mike. And it's definitely nice to see these stocks getting higher. I know it's been a long time since we've seen these stocks moving like this, and even CGC is looking good. I know that I've really been liking that MJ ETF, Mike. I like that for some nice diversification. If you're worried about just getting one company, the MJ ETF is a pretty good way to go too. And to be honest, Mike, the MJ ETF isn't too far off of its low here.
Yeah, good point. All right, Tom. And then what other news do we have going on in the markets?
Yeah, there's still some pretty big stuff coming up this week. And I know usually, Mike, the SPY moves whenever we get hints of tax increases. And I will say there was some news that came out this weekend about Joe Biden proposing a new 20% minimum billionaire tax. So keep in mind, this isn't just going to affect billionaires. It's going to affect households with more than $100 million. So pretty much what this is saying is that if they're not getting taxed at a 20% rate yet, they're going to have to pay the difference. So it's saying right here that if they're already paying 20% on their full income, they won't pay any additional tax. But if they pay less than 20%, like 15%, for example, then they'll owe a top-up payment, so an extra 5 or 10% or whatever it is they owe to meet the 20% minimum. So I guess it makes sense, Mike. We shouldn't have billionaires out here paying less taxes than, people who make, $25,000, $30,000 a year and stuff like that. I know sometimes the tax rates are pretty crazy, but in the end, it's definitely a big deal. I know that in the past, we've seen the market sometimes take a bit of a hit on news like this. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with this one. I know that anytime taxes are proposed, the market doesn't like that.
Yep, we will see. So, Tom, you're looking at the SPY right now. What are the most important levels we should be watching for the SPY this week?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually sitting right around the high of Friday here, right around 453. So I think that's going to be a pretty big resistance. It's just we have to be careful because in pre-market, the SPY might gap above this. So definitely be careful of 453 as we sit here. But with the SPY, Mike, as we start rising back up, we're getting back to some of these levels from back in February. And I will say there's a pretty defined level coming up right around 458. 458 is a pretty big resistance. If we do end up breaking above like 454, kind of around where we're sitting right now, I think we could have a pretty safe move up to around 455 to 458. 458 is definitely the main area I'm looking for this week, Mike. If the SPY starts falling off, I really hope that 450 to 448 level holds up as a good support. But as we can see now, Mike, the SPY closed pretty high Friday and it has a lot of momentum. And we also saw a lot of the big tech stocks last week doing pretty well, like Tesla. So the market, I think, has a pretty good chance to continue as long as all these other stocks continue to rip.
Yeah. All righty. Good stuff there. Tom, do you have any favorite setups you're watching for this week or anything in particular? Anything? What are you watching?
I'm really keeping my eyes, Mike, on the airlines. I will say they had a great day on Friday. Delta Airlines extended up in a pretty good way early in the morning and then just slowly tried to come back throughout the day. Even the other airlines like AAL and LUV had some pretty explosive moves. And I know airlines had some good news come out at the beginning of last week about increased bookings. And then we also had some good news come out at the end of the week. They started ripping up. So I'm glad to see that these airlines are moving well, Mike. And it's nice to see them finally recovering. And over the past 8 trading days, they've just been going straight up. So you have to be a little bit careful with it. But I will say they are breaking out in a pretty good way, along with some of these key tech stocks like Facebook, Mike. Facebook had a very explosive week last week. Even on Friday, whenever we expected a bit of a slowdown, Facebook continued to just show its strength and it continued to fly. So a lot of these stocks are rising right now off of their lows with some pretty good momentum. And hopefully we continue to see them break highs this week. Like I said, the airline sector is probably my favorite one to watch.
There we go. Good stuff, Tom. So I just want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, WizIt661. Thank you so much for all of your very positive comments on YouTube over the past couple of weeks. Tom and I really appreciate you. So huge shout out to WizIt661. Thank you so much for all of your support. And, if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And even if you've been with us for, a while now, let us know what stocks you're watching in the comments down below because we normally cover the stocks you guys talk about in the comments in the next video. So feel free to leave us a comment. But Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays. And with the first one, we have LOGI to the upside.
Yeah, Logitech, go ahead and make them actually break above $77 even. I think if they break above that, we could see a pretty big move up on Monday. There is some resistance right around 77.37 as well, so be careful of that. But 77 is a pretty key level.
Awesome. With the next one, we have DAL also to the upside.
Yeah, with Delta Airlines, just go ahead and make them break the high of Friday, right around 38.24 or 38.25, you could say.
Right, and with the last one, we have PENN, but this one is to the downside.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy is going to be upset, guys. If you guys know about the Dave Portnoy situation, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and make Penn fall below 41.25 on Monday.
Right, so we are watching PENN for potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below the level Tom listed. We are watching DAL and LOGI for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But Tom, let's showcase the bot's great trades from this past week. So if you trade options, definitely pay attention to this. Our bot calls out options day trades every single day. This past week was pretty awesome. Every single one of the plays this week popped for 10%. 4 out of the 5 plays popped for like 28%. And then the best play popped for 67.9%. And that was on Thursday. And that was with DAL. So overall, if you trade options, it's a great bot. It's a great tool. You won't find it anywhere else. You can cancel it anytime if you don't like it. We have a coupon running for the first month. The link to try it out is going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below if you decide to sign up. What's also included are swing trades, extra bots, a great community. You can chat with Tom and myself basically all day long. We have a bunch of other channels for I guess you could say premium selling trades, unusual options activity, long-term setups, and a bunch of things like that. You can cancel at any time, and it's a perfect tool if you trade options. So definitely check it out. Like I said, you can cancel at any time if you don't like it. But overall, Tom, I think we're set for a pretty awesome week. There's going to be a lot of volatility. This is good and bad. It should be great for, the short-term traders this week. I feel like a lot of stocks are at good levels. Some stocks are overbought. We have some stocks on the uptrend like these marijuana stocks, and I just think we're going to have a good week.
Yeah, me too, Mike. Like you said, these marijuana stocks are doing very well here. We also can't forget, though, that there is always that threat of Russian news coming in. There is still some stuff coming out with their oligarchs, and Turkey says that they're welcome there. And I know the U.S. has been doing a lot of stuff with these other NATO countries to try to go against what Russia is doing. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind, just in case there's a black swan event or something like that ends up hitting the SPY or our markets in a way. But yeah, Mike, hopefully we just see a nice continuation. A lot of stocks did well last week, and hopefully we see some of these big tech plays continue to move up, like Facebook and Square. I was really waiting for Square to move up last week again, but they started falling off on Friday. Hopefully they start recovering here off this 130 support.
Here we go. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget about that first link in the description and the comments down below for some awesome tools for you options traders out there. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.